Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick, and today we have set number 21312. This is Woman of NASA from the LEGO Ideas line, and this set contains 231 pieces and retails for $24.99 and was released on November 1st, 2017. Being an Ideas set, it does have a slightly higher end box where, the inside is, it folds open and closes nicely, so you can kind of re-close it up. And it does have some information on the back. It shows the 4 people included. You get the minifigures up on the top, and you do get an instruction booklet, which at the beginning highlights some information about the 4 minifigures included in the set. And you do have a little page on the fan designer and the LEGO designers who turned it into an actual set, and then that information is repeated in one other language, or just one, so just Spanish and English. But then the rest of the instruction booklet is just regular instructions, and then you get the little back here, and here just shows an advertisement for ideas. The first little vignette that you build, there are 3 of them included in the set between the 4 minifigures. The first one here is from Margaret Hamilton, and this depicted on the box is from the year 1959, and there's actually a photo included of the of her, actual black and white photo. This is what this scene is designed to represent. So, there's that. You get the little coat hanger, which is actually, represented here by a coat hook. But other than that, it looks pretty similar. You have this little stack of books. She actually was responsible for developing the spacecraft's onboard flight software for the command module and the lunar module, and she was obviously she didn't single-handedly do it, but she was the leader of the team, and definitely a good person to have memorialized here in LEGO form. Again, this here is printed. Everything you see in the set, all the details are printed, so that tile right there is printed. I believe it was new for this set, but I think it was also re-released later, unless it was in Big Bang Theory first. I don't remember, but it's been in one other set. It's relatively uncommon. And the other set, yes, okay, it was new here, and it was reused in the corner garage. So, it's cool. And this wall is actually built up sideways, and it's attached in with clips there. So you have this little bar piece there, and you just stick this on. It's cool. It doesn't quite cover the entire background, but it creates a nice little wall there, and it looks good. The minifigure is definitely the most detailed of the 4. For Margaret, they went out and added dual molded legs with really fine detailing on there. You've got the shoes on her toes, on the front and on the sides. Pretty well done there, honestly. And really good printing for the torso. She also got a new color for this hairpiece, which was later reused in Fun at the Park. Or not Fun at the Park, Fun at the Outdoors one, the third one that they did. And her face print is also a brand new expression, which has not been reused since. All around, really good level of detail, and they definitely, definitely put the most detail into this one. And I think it came out really nicely. Not that the other ones are bad, but we'll see those in a second. Next, we move on to the second little vignette, which features Sally Ride, who was, famously known as the first female astronaut to go to space. America's first woman in space, that is. I believe there was someone from Russia. I could be wrong. And then she, Mae Jemison, was the first woman of color in space. So, they're appropriately depicted here in front of a space shuttle, which that's probably the most the most complex build of the stuff in the set. I mean, none of it's like super easy, simple builds, but this comes out pretty good, and you can remove it. It does have this little pedestal piece and those tiles there to support it when it's on the ground, but you can remove it, and you could use this as just a little spaceship if you wanted to fly around, if you gave this to young kid, you'd probably end up doing that. And it does have this rocket booster engine on the back. Uses some ice cream cones in black to create some of the thrusters at the bottom. And you can detach the shuttle itself from the boosters if you wanted to depict the spaceship taking off. And I do like how it uses the fez pieces here for the engines. I think that's a good little section. And overall, just the design of this little spacecraft is pretty good looking. Looks pretty accurate for such a small scale. And you can just put it right back on here when you're done with it. Yeah. And you get the 2 printed tiles again with the 2 figures. And this is a little bit deeper than the other two little builds. But this is the only one that does, or that is designed to have 2 figures on it. The minifig of Sally Ride here is relatively accurate looking. She does feature a NASA flight suit in light blue here. Jemison gets it in orange. So, they're both good designs for the torsos, and those have not been reproduced since. And I imagine they probably won't be unless another similar NASA set is done. The face print is a previously existing face print. I believe it was used for Black Widow and Jyn Erso and, such like that. And the hairpiece is probably the most accurate that exists. I'd argue that, just based on this one picture, which is obviously what they were attempting to reproduce, I'd argue that maybe the Kira hairpiece from Solo works better, but obviously that wasn't introduced at the time, so I don't know, maybe if anybody out there has that and wanted to try it, you could, but the camera included as an accessory, I don't know exactly why. Maybe she took pictures of stuff, I'm not sure, but yeah, she has a camera included. And, that's an adequate accessory. Yeah, it's a pretty good figure, but you'll notice that she does not feature light printing like Margaret Hamilton did. And then for Jemison here, we get an orange flight suit, which looks pretty striking. It's the brightest of all the figures in the set. And her face print is a brand new design. Particularly was necessary because they don't really have a lot of good facial expressions for, non-flesh toned, like reddish brown heads. They're kind of lacking in that department, so it's good to get more of the such. And both expressions are pretty good. And her hairpiece is pretty much perfectly accurate to the photo that's included in the instruction manual, at least. And she does get a helmet included that she could wear if you'd like to give her the helmet. And, not particularly a space helmet, but it works, especially in her hands. But, obviously, if any kids are playing with this, they're probably going to put the helmet on her at some point. And, yeah, it's another pretty good figure, and definitely gets the likeness down. And for the final build, we have the Hubble Space Telescope, which is really cool in itself. Plus, the figure included is Nancy G. Roman, usually known as the mother of Hubble, for, all the planning that she did on the Hubble Space Telescope project. And that is a printed tile again. The figure is pretty good, but here we get 2 extra prints. This right here is supposed to represent an image captured by the Hubble Space Telescope, and that's a really cool print in itself. The build for, the screen showing that is a little bit lackluster, especially because it's just a panel, so it's, just a panel, but it does look good in, this specific context. The telescope itself is really, really nice. It's got this, this is the lens cover that would be able to fold down and cover it, but, it can't here, but it's obviously supposed to be a static display model, so I think that's okay. And you also get the solar panels on the sides, which are a new print that has been reused since, but they were a new print at the time. And you can angle this up and down. It is on a hinge, and you can rotate it as well. I think that this is a really cool looking display model, especially if you get it in a cool position like that. Yeah, I think this is probably my favorite build personally. And like all the rest of the figures, she has an exclusive torso, and like everyone but Sally Ride, she has an exclusive face as well. And both of them are, pretty good. Her torso is probably the simplest of the 4. but it definitely has applications outside of this particular figure. I think that's good, and the face is a pretty nice print with those glasses. It's pretty neat. I like it. Her hairpiece is the it's relatively uncommon, but it and it was new at the time, but it has been reused since. Unlike most of the other printed components in the set. I mean, I guess there are a couple, but yeah, it is a new or it was a new hairpiece at the time, which is pretty good, and definitely a good figure. Definitely portrays what it's supposed to be portraying pretty well. So I'm happy with it. And there we have it. That's all 3 builds from the LEGO Ideas Women of NASA set. The one thing that was included in the original Ideas project that did not get added in the final version of the set was there was originally supposed to be a 5th figure, Katherine Johnson, but the real Katherine Johnson chose not to be included in the official set. So that is why she wasn't included. It wasn't because the LEGO designers were lazy or anything. It's because she asked not to be in it. So we don't know why, but it would have been nice to get a 5th figure, and a 5th important person in NASA's history. She was actually featured in the movie Hidden Figures, which I've seen. It was a relatively good movie. I would recommend it. But it would have been cool, and it would have been a good tie-in to that movie, which was out around this time, I think, in theaters, if I recall correctly. But I can't really fault LEGO for not including her if she specifically asked not to be. So, overall, I think that for $25 here, I think the builds are reasonable. I feel like at $20, this would be a perfect set. $25 is not a bad price. The figures are all great, and the builds are really good. Specifically the shuttle and the telescope. And, the building techniques used here are nice. It's, fun to put together. I'd recommend it on the whole. I think if you can get a discount, then... I don't know if I recommend it at full price, but if you can get a discount, which it's frequently been available on sale at many places, like you could easily get it for $18, I think, at Amazon right now. Yeah. Overall, it's a good set. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below. And I will see. Also, it's probably not the best set for kids. It's not super playable, but for adult collectors and anyone who wants to put this on display, for them it's a good set. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys all next time. Bye everyone.